seen of a ability to get accredited, ability to have an internationally recognised competency in training, will very much act as a retention and indeed a recruitment tool, we saw that in Singapore, to very much underpin the development of Qatar's financial sector. So I'll hand to my colleague, Maduka, who will talk you through a little bit more of the detail around how the program is going to play out.
Thanks, Steve. I mean, we talked about Qatar and its rapid growth in financial services, and you also talked about importing talent. I think what is also important is the fact that while you import talent, it's important that you have a standard framework in terms of competence that sits within financial services, in terms of training needs that need to be met to align with the competency levels expected at different different components of financial sector. So it's important that all of this is dealt with within the context of a standard framework, a comprehensive framework to deal with competency and training. And the goals of Taddreb, FMDC, are to make sure that we tackle all of the financial segments at the same time. So we're talking about banking, we're talking about insurance, we're talking about asset management and capital markets and the regulators. So this standard framework should address much of the financial services sector itself. The training program should address all the requirements. So it's not only to deal with regulated activities or regulated persons or approved persons or controlled persons. It's also to tackle training needs of anyone working within the financial service industry. So it needs to be broad, and at the same time, it needs to make sure the program should adopt and adapt leading practices. And in this respect, I think the expectation is that the program looks at what the successes or lessons learned from other jurisdictions. The four jurisdictions we are looking at are Hong Kong, Singapore, because there's a lot of commonality between Qatar and Singapore and Hong Kong. At the same time, we will also look at Australia and UK to make sure that we look at different models for both competency standards as well as for training, delivery, and the alignment between the two. And obviously, a standard is only successful if you have the right training resources and training provider pool available. And I don't think Qatar today will be able to meet the demands of the competency standards that we might be putting together. So it's important that at this stage itself, we identify the training provider pool across not just Qatar, but also across the region. One of FMDC's goal is also to make sure that this becomes a training center, not just for Qatar, but also for the region as a whole. So I think that's the ambition of FMDC as far as the project Taddreb is concerned. And why is it important to address this issue now? I think Qatar is fortunate that at this juncture, it's possible to address all of the weaknesses or loopholes within the context of training and competency, because you're able to invest at this stage on the back of the growth that you are witnessing. So, and again, post-financial crisis, as Yusuf was mentioning, things have changed, and therefore it's important that the framework that is put in place is quite robust, and that Qatar financial system is able to avoid any risks to the system itself. So I think that those are the key aspects that need to be addressed today. Globally, we know that the new normal world means that the trade flows across the globe is shifting towards the Middle East, towards the economies of Asia, Africa, and South America. So I think Qatar sits right in the heart of Middle East, where you are able to address some of these as you build the regime itself. And lastly, I think this has been dealt with by Yusuf. We talked about inherent risk, and I think it's important that the regime addresses the inherent risk within financial services sector itself. Now, how is the project being delivered? I think there are 4 phases identified by QFPA. We are currently working on the strategy and the roadmap. This will take about a month or 2. We started work last month. Effectively, this looks at local market. We look at the gaps in Qatar. We are looking at what other jurisdictions are doing, and obviously try to build a roadmap that will be customized to Qatar's specific needs. Following on from the strategy roadmap, we will build the competency regime in consultation with the industry and the regulators, and then move on to build a training framework, and lastly build a blueprint for rollout of the training and the competency regime. Now, I won't go into too much of detail, but effectively what you should expect is within each of the financial segments, whether it's banking or insurance, we would ideally want to identify the key components of the job roles, the job families, and then look at competency levels and the components of competency that need to be addressed through training or through regulation itself. So I think that's the framework we are broadly looking at. This is just an outline, it's not been finalized, but that's the approach we will try to take. In terms of how you decide and define the job roles and job families, we would look at the target operating models of each segments of financial services. So we look at banking, we look at insurance, we look at key roles, and then identify the job roles and job families, and then try to identify the components of competency, distinguishing between qualifications, skills, experience, and so on, and then build the training curriculum and utilize the industry needs. So that's the ambition, but at the same time, it's important that some of these are addressed. They're not addressed at one point. I mean, at one go, it'll be an evolutionary process whereby we focus on the priority areas first, and then move on to the other areas itself. This will not be successful without engagement of the stakeholders. And broadly, we see there are three sets of stakeholders. One is industry, two regulators, and number three, obviously, training providers. So I think it's important that all three stakeholders participate and work in partnership to make sure that this is successful. And I guess with that, we will leave the floor open for any questions.
Is it just worth just on that last slide, just touching on what's the expected engagement with industry in the coming, say, couple of months, just as a sort of lead into the Q&A?
Yeah, thank you. We are envisaging establishing industry working groups who we will refer to and consult, and key elements of strategy and framework will be shared with the industry working groups to make sure that you are buying into anything that we might be building in terms of framework. So we expect feedback from you, and I think that would be very useful. Otherwise, we build a framework that doesn't really, that would be difficult to implement.
Thank you, Stephen and Shinoy, for this informative presentation. Now I would like to open the floor for a Q&A session. If there are any questions, please just raise your hand, introduce yourself, and ask your questions or give your feedback or comment. Yeah, is the mic down?
Murad from Ahli. It's mentioned the developing talent. This is just a statement. Developing talent, not just about training, but it's also talent guys. It's all about retaining staff, and that means engaging them, because if you don't engage them within the organization, they leave. And I hope that your training programs are not just classroom training, but also engagement within the organizations.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I'm coming from like 17 years of experience in the training industry. The classroom training and agreeing how in-houses training, I mean, can only achieve this much. There are a lot of different kinds of interactive training, from on-job training, limited approaches, coaching, and so many types of training that really much more fruitful for not only for the financial industry, but this applies for other industries as well. Therefore, I mean, we are taking into consideration to using, I mean, a wide range of training and wide range of approaches and methodologies to really cater for this request. Thank you.
Just one other point, it's a very good point you make. I think the key thing we're developing here is a competency framework, and that's about assessing people's ability to do their jobs, which is a combination of knowledge, skills, and behaviours. And the competency regime itself, that we'll be able to work with you in allowing people to demonstrate their competency, to allow them to progress through their careers. As he says, we have a sort of saying in PwC that 80% of what you learn is on the job. So it's from learning from others, developing, and one of the things about having a competency regime, it gives you the opportunity to discuss with your management how I want to develop, and therefore the way in which I can be coached and developed as part of my job. And then clearly there is a training component which you add to that to allow people to develop through their careers.
Another question? Yes.
My name is Abdurrahman Issa, Al-Qut Insurance. You said something about engaging with industry. What form would that engagement take, and will you, and also how will you solicit the feedback from the industry?
There's 3 or 4 different mechanisms. One will be we will be running interviews and direct questionnaires with all of the financial services communities across banks, insurers, and asset managers. Secondly, we'll be forming a number of I hesitate to use the word committees, but I'll use the word groups. So bringing together across those different areas both those who've been volunteered and those who we feel would add value. Definitely those people who ask good questions at this forum, Abdurrahman, will be intimately involved in providing that feedback and assistance.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, I'll probably stop to
Yeah,
ask you
okay.
more questions.
Anybody would like to give any comments on the table here?
Thank you very much for coming to this event. I know all of you had like long day of long hours of working, making it give us really a strong indication that how much you value and you see the value of such an initiative. We promise to really engage with the industry. This competency framework is not for the QFC or QFPA or for FMDC. This framework is for the industry, is to upgrade, to help the industry to mature and to upgrade the skills of those who are working in the industry. Qatar is promoting itself as a financial hub. I mean, such a competency framework would be one of the most important success factor for this to happen. Thank you again. Thank you, Abdurrahman. Thank you, Shan. Thank you, Yusuf. And thank you, our partners from PwC for making this happen and for launching this crucial and important project and program. Thank you very much.